what is the difference between validation and verification? These are two confusing terms, especially for the beginners. Many videos in YouTube might mislead you and confuse you a lot. Because more than 10 years ago, there was a process in the software industry called waterfall. But nowadays, no one follows waterfall model. Most of the projects in the industry are following Agile Scrum methodology. So there is a drastic change in the software process. And there are changes in the terminologies as well, like verification and validation. So I'll be explaining you the verification and validation with respect to the latest software development process called Agile. Okay, verification is a process of checking whether we are building something correctly. Okay, when we are making something, we are checking whether we are following the right process, whether we are building something correctly. Now, validation is about checking, have I built something right? I have finished making something, whether it is made correctly, right? At the end of the making process. Now, let's try to understand it with an analogy. Suppose you are cooking a vegetable soup. So in a pot, you're boiling water and you're adding vegetables, you're stirring it. Now you might be adding some salt and pepper into that. Then you stir it well, and before completing your cooking, you might taste it, right? You just take a portion of it and taste and check whether you have added enough salt and pepper. So if it is not enough, you'll be adding more. So you're verifying something, right? So this is called verification. Maybe after some time, you'll be adding some soya sauce and then tomato ketchup, stir it well, and then again taste it to check whether you have added enough quantity. So that is also verification, because you haven't made the soup yet completely, but in the making process, you are checking whether whatever is done so far is correct. Now, suppose you are boiling it again, you're cooking, and you're done it. Now the soup is ready. But before serving it to someone, you have to ensure that it really tastes like a soup, right? So again, you will take a portion and taste it. So this is called validation. You have completed making something, and you are checking that, okay, it has come really well. That's validation process. Now let's come to the software side. You are making a product, a software product. Okay, maybe for example, an e-commerce application, something like Amazon. So you will start with user stories, right? So take a user story, search for a product. So there is a user story. As a customer, I should be able to search for a particular product. So a developer is implementing that user story. It is given to you for testing. So you will test and ensure that it is implemented as per the requirement stated in the user story. So that is verification. Now you get the next user story implemented. As a customer, I should be able to add a product to a shopping cart. And then you get another user story to test. As a customer, I should be able to submit the payment details. When the user submits the payment details, the system should be able to validate it. That's another user story. So you keep on getting different user stories, and you test the implementation of user stories and ensure that it is properly implemented as per whatever is stated in the user story. Okay, so these checkings against each of the user stories, these are verification. Now think about the validation process. So everything is implemented, all the user stories are implemented. Now, before giving this product to the users to use, you need to test it as per the user needs. So for example, in this case, purchasing a product. So how does a user purchase a product? Through your e-commerce application. That is your test case. So from a user perspective, not from the user stories perspective, from a user point of view, you will thoroughly check how the user can purchase a product. This is called validation. Here in the case of validation, you are not concerned about each of the user story. Instead, you're concerned about, or you act as a user, actual user, and you test the application. This is validation.